Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Elongate, another beautiful Sunday charity party. We are Elongate, the cryptocurrency for charity. My name is Alex, and you've tuned into our charity event. Today, we are joined by some very special guests. First, I'm going to introduce Michael Hund. Michael Hund is the CEO of EB Research. EB Research Partnership is a game-changing medical research organization dedicated to curing the life-threatening genetic skin disease epidermolysis bullosa, EB. They're pioneering the innovative business model of venture philanthropy for all rare diseases. Michael previously served as the director at the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, leading their successful $100 million Curing Cancer Now campaign. Previously, Michael spent over a decade in leadership at the actor and philanthropist Paul Newman's Hole in the Wall Gang Fund, working on behalf of children and their families battling cancer and other life threatening illness. He received a degree in philosophy from the University of Kansas, a CORE credential from Harvard Business School, and MBA from Yale University. Michael and the EB team, it is an honor to have you here. Michael, who do you have with us today?
Well, first of all, Alex, just thank you so much, man. It's been an honor to partner with you and Elongate to learn and meet this community this week, to have you all join us on our mission. It's been overwhelming, the support, the notes that we're getting, the feedback, the generosity. So just thank you so much, Alex. We're honored to partner with Elongate. I have some really, really great friends here today. First of all, EBRBP team member, Michelle Hall, and beyond being an important part of our team, Michelle is just an absolute rock star. She's an EB ambassador. Everybody in the EB community comes to Michelle with questions, big or small. She's traveled the world for advocacy, talking about the importance of not only support for those with EB, but other rare diseases as well. So it's my honor to have Michelle with us here today. Hey, Michelle.
Hey,
Great.
thanks for having me.
Hey, Michelle, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
We also have with us the man, the myth, the legend, Brady the Brave. He's at his brother Leo's soccer game right now, as you can see. So Brady is multitasking. He is coaching today. His brother, he's tuning in to say hi to the Elongate community. And he's with his dad, Chris, and his mom's phoning in as well. Eileen and Chris and Eileen are not only amazing parents, amazing ambassadors of the EB community, but also members of our board of directors as well. So part of our leadership and just really amazing people and an amazing family. So hey, Brady and Chris.
Yes, a huge welcome to Brady and Brady's family.
Well, fantastic. And I think, Alex, we were going to kick things off today with just a really short couple-minute video on our mission and what we do for those that may not be familiar.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me kick that off. This is the story of EBRP. So everybody sit back and tune in.
This is Eli. This is Mikey. And this is Tilly. They are each curious, creative, and loving. And they are also some of the strongest people you will ever meet. Born with epidermolysis bullosa, or EB, their strength comes from a profound understanding of pain. Until you meet someone with EB, that pain can be hard to understand.
Am I brave, Mom?
You are the bravest guy I know, bud.
Epidermolysis bullosa affects the body's largest organ, the skin. People with EB are missing vital proteins that bind the skin together. Without these, the skin tears apart, blisters, and shears off, leading to pain, disfigurement, and wounds that may never heal. They call it the butterfly disease because their skin is said to be as fragile as a butterfly's wings. This is the experience of 500,000 people living with EB worldwide. And because of a lowered life expectancy, they are mostly children, just like Eli, Mikey, and Tilly. But this is changing. What started as the mission of 3 families living with EB has turned into a bold and innovative movement. Over the years, EBRP has partnered with brilliant researchers and doctors, leading to more than 10 times the amount of clinical trials. And now, we are pioneering a new model for how disease can be cured. Venture philanthropy. We don't just write checks and hope for the best. We invest in the most promising projects. When that research proves successful, we use the return on investment to fund even more research until a cure is found. And now EBRP is a global endeavor, ensuring that science does not sleep and research happens 24/7. Curing EB is not an if, it is a when. Scientists know EB's genetic target and are studying cutting-edge techniques like gene editing and stem cell technology to develop a cure. Momentum is everything. We can cure this. Every Eli, Mikey, and Tilly out there deserves to grow up and to live, deserves to fly. Help us heal, EB.
Michael, Michelle, Chris, Brady, thank you so much for being here. That video just wrapped up on our end for our audience. The love and support, it's already pouring in. Everybody's so excited and just, really wanting to support you guys in the mission to finally cure this thing. Michael, can you tell me just a little bit more about the disease, the science, and the opportunity you have to cure this?
Absolutely, Alex. And if it's okay with you, I know Brady and Leo and Chris are on a move. They're coaching games and just being the amazing guys that they are. If it's all right with you, I'd love to pass it over to Chris and Brady and Leo, maybe to give you all a couple inspiring words but before we jump into our model and the hope and the opportunity.
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris Attar here with Brady and Leo. Say hi, boys.
Hi.
So we want to thank you all so much for all the great work y'all are doing to help support us. And I apologize. We are, like Michael said, we're at a soccer game. And so the unpredictable weather here in Colorado in May got us in the car real quick. But it's really good because Brady gets to be outside and have fun. And so we, again, we appreciate
I won the soccer game.
Leo won the soccer game. We appreciate all the help
Leo.
you guys are doing and support for us. Brady, can you say thank you and say hi?
Thank you. Hi.
So
Hi and
thanks again, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thanks, Leo. And thank you, Brady, for being here. It's definitely an inspiration. And everybody's just so excited to meet you. And we're really excited to just support the mission to cure EB. So thanks again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, boys. Well, yeah, and thank you again, Alex. Look, before we get into it, again, just want to take the opportunity to thank you, to thank Elongate as an organization with a big, bold vision to revolutionize and innovate the cryptocurrency world. And in the process of doing that, help organizations like ours, which really allows us to make an impact on the lives of those in the world with EB, like Michelle and Brady. The community, we get to partner with a lot of great, generous folks, but this week, the community has been, the Elongate community has been unlike anything we've ever seen before. We think of the butterfly effect, hearing from members of the Elongate community from hundreds of different countries. So around the clock, given the time zone, we're hearing from people with words of support, with words of encouragement. Shout out to Chris J, over in Australia, who made this original connection. He's, we're working around the clock. We go to bed, Australia starts to work. So, just again, thank you to you and the community. It's been incredibly inspiring just to see the butterfly effect you all have created around the world by activating your audience and activating your supporters. So big thanks from all of us. To get back to your question, EB, epidermolysis bullosa, great job pronouncing it, by the way, Alex. Usually most people don't get it right. You nailed it. But because it is not easy to say, we call it EB for short. So EB is a genetic rare skin disease. And the challenging, tough thing about EB, as Michelle can tell you and Chris and Brady can tell you, it's tough. From the moment that you're born, children have EB. And it means, waking up in pain, bleach baths, hours of bandaging, hours of doctor's appointments, living life of pain. Gets incredibly worse a lot of times over as you get older and over time. And we can talk about a little later some of the challenges it presents. Our goal is to really cure EB, and we have a shot to do that. And I'll tell you a little bit about why we are optimistic and what makes us hopeful. You've seen and you've heard about all the really tough and challenging things about EB. It's devastating. It's diabolical. That's the bad news. The good news is EB is caused by one genetic mutation. And to give perspective, things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and cancers can be thousands of genetic mutations, really complex problems. And I frame it in this way for many of you on the line. You all are tech savvy, you understand engineering, you understand coding. It's a big part of the mining that you do in the coin space. EB and rare disease is a similar problem. DNA is zeros and ones of genetic code. Here we have a problem in front of us for all the devastation and pain and suffering EB brings for the 500,000 people in the world with EB. It's a solvable problem because it's what we call monogenic, or one genetic mutation. We know that genetic mutation. Oftentimes it's in collagen 7A. So we have a target in our sights to leverage cutting edge technology like gene editing, exon skipping, messenger RNA technology, the same thing you see in COVID vaccines, to cure this disease. And there's scientists around the world working on our problem. Now, because it's the 1-point genetic mutation, the good thing about being in the EB space is it allows us to be first off the runway, because it's a solvable problem. You solve the genetic problem with one mutation before you solve the one with thousands of mutations. Also, things like gene editing and gene engineering will rapidly change the course of humanity and many diseases. EB gets to be first because it's one gene mutation, but also you can observe it on the surface of the skin before you start attacking things in the internal organs and observing that from a regulatory perspective. But we also remind people skin is the largest organ in the body, right? So, and Michelle and Chris and Brady can tell you, EB certainly has a devastating toll on the skin that we see, but skin's the largest organ. So EB attacks internal organs, things like walking, eating, breathing, sleeping become very difficult because of the disease. So, because it's observable on the skin, though, we get to be first off the runway and a prime candidate to test some of these experimental treatments like gene editing. The other great thing to know about what we do and sort of the hope and the promise is by curing EB, and we think we have a real chance to do it by 2030. And that is not a fundraising slogan, a marketing pitch. This is shared by the scientific community. Just last week, I talked with a team that we funded at Stanford School of Medicine out in Palo Alto, and they've now started the Center for Definitive and Curative Medicine. Definitive and curative are words that we love and certainly make us wake up in the morning to be optimistic, to work hard, to raise the funds, to pursue a goal like that. And at the Center for Definitive and Curative Medicine at Stanford, one of the most prestigious universities in the world, the director is the leading EB doctor that we funded and supported for a decade. The leading project is something called iPS cell gene editing, where you take your blueprint cells, your iPS cells, you fix that one mutation that causes EB, everything else stays unique to you as the individual. You proliferate new sheets of skin. You can do skin grafting to put it back on. We're actually funding spray on skin, which sounds like science fiction. So you get new healthy spray on skin. And then the goal would be to have an internal treatment so we can cure this once and for all. So it's not a far distant pipe dream. We feel we have a chance to do this before the end of the decade, which makes us unique. There's very important problems in the world, but how many of them can you say your support, your efforts? Not only can we solve this in our lifetime, but perhaps within the next decade. That's the goal, that's the ambition. In the process, the type of work that we fund in gene editing and exon skipping, EB is first off the runway. Those same treatments, those same approaches have applicability to the 7,000 rare diseases that impact 10% of the global population. That's 400 million people. 400 million people, that's more than cancer and HIV combined. But rare diseases are small in individuality like EB, but when we look at us as a cohort and a group, it's a massive problem we're solving. The technologies and treatments we fund have large base applicability. 85% of those rare diseases are genetic diseases, just like EB. Similar to what the work you do on a technology side of Elongate, gene editing is a scalable technology. We're in an era of medicine where it's not blunt objects. It's a scalable technology. You prove the case in EB, cure EB, you can rapidly scale to those 7,000 other rare diseases for 400 million people. The other thing that's exciting about the work that we do, and I know we'll talk a little bit more about it, there's the emotional side of this. Like, you meet these families with EB and you see what these kids go through from the moment that they're born, missing sheets of skin from their body. And the pain and suffering that they go through, you want to help, and we can help, and we can actually use our time and resources and funding to make an impact. Curing EB is an if, it's not a when. It's a funding problem. We can solve it with funding. We have scientists all over the world. We funded 90 projects for $40 million. When we started, there was no research, no clinical trials. Today, there's more than 30 clinical trials. 4 of them are phase 3, which is the final stage before there's an approval. So within the next year, it's highly probable we'll have the first EB treatment ever. And then after that, we want cures. And after that, we want to move on to other rare diseases. So there's the emotional side of why we should do this to help families. But then there's the business model side. And Alex mentioned this a little bit. You saw at the top of you saw when we shared the video, for us, nonprofits, 501c3, that's a tax status. That's not a business model. We believe any great problem we're solving has to have a good business model and good business minds. So we attack the problem of curing EB just like any entrepreneur would with a business. So we work with massive companies and cloud computing companies like AWS to build longitudinal genomic data sets that can be given to researchers, data be given back to patients to help them on their disease. And most importantly, we use a venture philanthropy model, which makes us venture capitalists for a cause. So when we invest in research, whether it's at a university, whether it's for a private or public company, or whether in the last year, we've started to start our own companies, we take an equity stake. So if that research we fund is commercialized, the return on investment comes back to EB Research Partnership as a foundation to fund more research until we cure the disease. So your dollars, everybody's generosity this week, what you've done at Elongate, Alex, really have the ability to not only make an impact today by funding research, but because we put an upside of equity into it, generate a return on investment and make a ripple effect from your original donation. So, maybe I'll stop there. I know we have some questions and we'll work through some stuff, but in short, we will cure this disease. We're honored to have everybody in this community on this team that will be part of accomplishing something great in the process, helping the 7,000 rare diseases that impact 10% of the global population, which, by the way, 95% of them have 0 approved treatments, including EB. There's 400 million people, 95% of which don't have any approved treatments, but we're solving that. We'll do it with your help. We're innovative. We're revolutionary the way that we approach medical research and science with this disease. When we find partners like Elongate that are revolutionizing and innovate the cryptocurrency space, it's a match made in heaven. So honored to be with you, Alex, and your team at Elongate. Honored to have the greater Elongate community and family with us and supporting us. So big thanks. Let's end EB together.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I mean, your approach is so inspiring and revolutionary. Wiping a single disease off the face of the planet is a monumental achievement, and we want to bring the power of cryptocurrency to that and accelerate that. So we're super excited to be here. The entire community is just exploding right now with love and support, and they're so excited to be supporting you guys. It's really special. So, I mean, EB was identified as such a crucial cause and ideal partner. So it's great to contribute. I'd love to hear from Michelle, if that's okay, and just hear some of that story.
Oh boy, what part of the story? There's so much stories. I'll start from the beginning. I'm Michelle. If anybody doesn't know who I am, Michelle Hall. I was born in New Jersey, born and raised, and I work for EBRP since 2015, since pretty much its inception. And I'm their accountant, but also advocate and, global ambassador, whatever you want to call me today. I wear a lot of hats, but usually tell everybody I'm my first full-time job because I'm a handful. And then EBRP is my second full-time job. But, I do a lot for a lot of people, and I just absolutely love it because I feel anyone suffering with what I've gone through shouldn't still be going through this. If you see my video, you'll know, even it's an inspiring video from 2016, but even the research then is kind of outdated. We've come such a far way even from 2016. So it's exciting that I wish I could have shown it, but I was on TV on Matt Lauer back in 1990 with my older brother. He also has EB. He's 45 now, and I'm 33, going on 34. And it was a good episode where the head researchers at the time from Rockefeller were there, and they said, quote unquote, "We know what's wrong. We know how to cure this. but we just don't have the funds. That was 1990. So, we went how many years by just like, well, this is what it is. I mean, I was born with beautiful skin, beautiful hands, beautiful nails, beautiful feet, toes, skin. But, EB is just, it's destructive. It's painful. Every cut I've ever gotten, I've gotten a scar. Some cuts, they heal, and then it's a cruel joke because the next day, wide open again. It's you have to take it day by day and sometimes minute by minute because it gets to be overwhelming and painful, and it's really all consuming in a sense. So we do our best, to make sure that everybody knows that they're just included in all of this. It's obviously such a great organization that we are taking such strides and so fast to do things in such a different way than before. Because I feel other nonprofits in the past, you just take money and say, here, researchers, do what you can, fix this. And it hasn't really worked. We have held them accountable. And I think that's brilliant. And to bring on new technologies and new generations, and I feel this generation more than anything has been beyond generous and caring and passionate and wanting to change the world more than anyone, that it's inspired me. And, I never went through this life thinking I'd have a cure. I just wanted to make sure it was easier and better for the next generation like Brady. I didn't want him to suffer and be tortured like I was at the hands of researchers, doctors, just nurses, even, like just having the education there, because we simply didn't even have the education of how to handle day-to-day things. So just simply that, having that technology, those tools out there, those doctors available to the EB community is huge. And we help out with all of that. And I absolutely love the things that we've been doing, and we're such a tiny team. So we're a force. So I am just blessed and so happy that we found you guys and you guys found us, because cryptocurrency, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing. We created, not we, but researchers created this cure. They could figure out how to do it. You guys figure out how to make money out of nothing. Yeah.
Right.
I can't figure out cryptocurrency. I'm an accountant. I'm still trying to figure this one out. I've been watching a lot of things and how to put it on my book. So
Sure. Yeah. No, it's for sure a really, really overwhelming platform to be a part of, being able to generate this capital for worthy charitable causes like EB in a way that no other platform is able to do. So it's awesome. So thank you for sharing that. I'm able to read the chat on my side, so I'm able to see the whole community just outpouring. Thank you for your optimism and your strength, and for being here to share your story. I would love to be able to take some questions from the audience if you're all okay with that.
Love that.
Okay, awesome. So to everybody watching on whatever platform you're on, toss out some questions if you have them for Michael and the EBRP team, for Brady, for Michelle, and we'll try to get some of those answered. Here's one. Michael, how long has research been going on? And for Michelle, to go along with that, have there been any progress or products or treatments that have at least helped so far?
Yeah, do you want to take, Michelle? I can kind of give the bigger lens, but do you want to go first on just what you've seen even in your life over the last 33, soon to be 34 years?
So personally, I've seen a lot more research happen. There's been a few trials when I was a child, but more like on just basic ointments and things and different products that we could use to bandage day to day. Really just day to day maintenance, bandaging, bathing, different soaps and antiseptic things to use, and ointments, but nothing like injections, no real infusions. It's more like managing the symptoms and the effects of EB that has been kind of getting better. And the bandage technology is way better. My brother used to have, my mom used to bandage my brother with bleached t-shirts, strips. That's what she had back in the 70s. So we've come a long way, but there hasn't been anything really to the market yet that's treatment for EB specific.
Yeah. And Michelle, maybe give the community a perspective. Like we were talking about this the other day, just bandage costs, what you spend annually and what a lot of families spend annually just on bandages alone, to give you a sense of where we are today.
I showed the whole team my insurance bill that came in December, and it was I cost $420 or $18,000 in wound care supplies and surgeries this year. And actually,
418.
Wow.
it's a lot less. So I didn't really go to the doctor that much. So that was actually a low amount, 418.
Which, Alex, is not uncommon, to have $500,000 in medical costs just on bandages and ointments. So, just to add on to what Michelle said, what exists today, that's available, no approved treatments for EB. So I have 4 daughters. We use things like Aquaphor for diaper rashes. I mean, that's really what the community has, over the counter ointments and creams, bandages every single day. As Michelle said, $418,000 worth of bandages every single year. So it's not sustainable, not productive. When this organization started in 2011, there was really no clinical trials, not much research being done. There was 2 clinical trials, and both were bone marrow transplants, which, and Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, it was really, there's a 50-50 chance whether you're even going to make it through this, much less if it's going to help your EB, right? So highly experimental, highly dangerous for the community, and proved to be really dangerous. So, this organization came in, was founded by a group of parents who just wanted to save their kids' lives and saw nothing was being done in the research space. One of the parents happened to be a Harvard Business School grad who said we should, have a good business model here. We were lucky to have, Jill and Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam be co-founders of the organization. One of their best childhood friends had a kid with EB. So of course that helps the platform and exposure. But what we've done, since that time, since 2011, and to the question of how has it changed and where are we going, from really nothing in a bleak clinical landscape, we funded 90 projects in 20 different countries for $40 million over the last 10 years. And there's never been that amount of capital put into the space. That's entirely transformed what's available to patients and what will be available. So we went from 2 clinical trials to now more than 30, so you're really talking about, more than 15 times the amount of clinical trials. Again, 4 of those are in phase 3. So that means, that's the last stage before the FDA approves a treatment. So we hope all 4 get approved, but the reality that we'll have the first treatment and the first approved treatment available to EB patients in the next year is very strong. So to go from nothing to an approved treatment in 10 years, to put it in perspective, is remarkable progress. Now, when you talk about what's available, Michelle mentioned ointments and creams. Sort of that's the first step. Can you control pain? Can you help the wounds heal a little bit? Can you control itch? We call that disease controlling. The next category of 3, we call disease changing. So things like gene therapies, protein therapies. You can change gene behavior. You have to take a treatment continuously, but can you start produce collagen 7 to heal wounds? Can you make the collagen protein to make that wound healing a little bit better and quality of life better? Those things are in the clinic now. So 3 of the 4 phase 3 clinical trials are gene therapies. So if those get approved, they're not one-shot cures, but they can radically and drastically change the quality of life of patients living today. So that's the next step. What's the ultimate goal? Disease curing. And what does that mean? So it's good for you and your community to know the way we fund research twice a year. It's basically an X Prize. We ask for the best and most brilliant ideas from anybody in the world, academic medical center, company, startup will start a company with you. We are open as long as you have a great idea to help the EB community. We get those applications in twice a year. Then we have an independent scientific advisory board made of the most brilliant scientists, researchers, clinicians from around the world. And it's a beautiful thing, which is probably something you guys do in the crypto community a lot, is they debate. They argue in a healthy way. They talk about the merits of a project. They give us a score, and then we fund the best projects based on the science. Now this year, we started the year out knowing there's so much development, and we said to the research community, we want cures, we want moonshots. We know this genetic mutation, so we're strongly prioritizing curative work. And we've seen that impact. So to get to the point, we are funding every single year, millions of dollars of curative projects. The thing that gives us the most hope today is gene editing. So to give you an example, we started something called the iPS Cell Consortium, and it's part of this business model, right? So the iPS Cell Consortium was started when Colorado University in the middle of the country, Columbia University in New York, and Stanford University on the West Coast all applied to our scientific advisory board with a similar project in gene editing to cure EB. So we went back to those 3 universities, and this is kind of what Michelle said about, holding people accountable, incentivizing people to share data, which is not the norm in academic medicine. We went back to these 3 universities and we said, hey, look, we'll fund you and support you on one condition. You have to work together and share information with one another and start this consortium of 3 universities, because that saves time, That saves energy and it gets us to our goal of a cure faster. So that iPSC consortium works on curative work. They take iPS cells, which are kind of like our blueprint, architecture cell, fix that mutation. Phase one is to print 3D skin with that now healthy skin based on your own unique genetic code. Start to graft that skin back on. We're funding spray on skin, which has been approved in the FDA for burn victims, where you're spraying on your gene corrected healthy skin now. And then the ultimate goal is to take that technology and technologies like it to actually have a systematic treatment where it can be a one-shot cure, a gene editing approach that can actually cure EB once and for all. And again, we have scientists working on that around the world, from Australia to Stanford on the West Coast, to that iPSC consortium, to University of Minnesota. So, our prioritization and what we fund is really focused on what can get us that cure. Again, it's a solvable problem that we know. So a lot of our funding is prioritized on those approaches. But in summary, we'll start to see approved treatments, which is great. But we will not stop until we see those cures get into the hands of patients.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything you talked about brings up several questions that the audience is having. They're very, it's a financially savvy crowd, right? It comes from the cryptocurrency space. So a lot of what they want to know is, obviously the timeline between now and a cure, doing it in 10 years is amazing. But between now and the cure on that roadmap, what is the biggest financial hurdle you have? And then B, what is the biggest scientific or technical hurdle you have? And then just bringing it back to your very revolutionary venture philanthropy model, how is it that you're kind of taking the funds raised and sort of snowballing them into different ventures and equity and patents, and bringing that all back in to accelerate the cure?
Yeah, great questions, Alex. I mean, it all comes back to funding, right? I mean, again, this is a problem that's an if not a win. The win accelerates with capital. So just to give you some specific financials, when I joined the organization, we were raising about $3 million a year. When you're a rare disease community, support is always a barrier, right? Many people before this week probably haven't heard of epidermolysis bullosa. So just awareness and recognition and making people care about your rare disease is a big barrier, because why should I support? Why should I care? What does this mean to me in my world? Now, we're raising anywhere. Our goal this year is $6 million in capital raise. We try to raise between $5 and $9 million a year. At those funding amounts, we take zero government dollars. It's all from individuals like the people on this call, EB families, people in the community, people that are Pearl Jam fans. It's all from individuals, and we take pride on that. Even when we're funding $6 million a year in research, there's research that's not getting funded. And I think the biggest need now, the great thing is we have later stage clinical research, right? You're testing these treatments in humans, in patients. They're bigger, they're later, they're curative. Those are all great things. That's what we want. On the financial side, those are more expensive. Millions of dollars to run a clinical trial, millions of dollars to get it into a phase 1 clinical trial. We're still at that point where until you get to a phase 2 or phase 3 clinical trial, that's when companies step in. That's when companies start to invest. But we often see ourselves, and this would resonate with your community, as angel investors. We're de-risking early stage investments. There's nobody else funding EB. So we step in, we fund this stuff with the goal of getting it into clinical trials in humans, making the proof of concept, and getting it to a point where outside investors say, okay, we see this makes sense, so we can move on to the next thing. Now, before I get to the scientific barriers, just to stay on that for a moment, let's talk about how venture philanthropy works in an actual case study, because I think your audience would really appreciate this. So to give you an idea of how this works in practice and how it has worked, back in 2016, we funded a gene therapy project at a West Coast university, academic medical center. We put a venture philanthropy agreement, which in short guarantees that we as a foundation get some equity if it's ever commercialized, but also ensuring that those researchers, the university, gets some equity because they've come up with the IP, we have the capital. We're able to negotiate those deals in a way that other diseases outside of rare diseases couldn't. So we go to the universities, we say, we have the capital, we want to negotiate these equity deals. We're the only source of capital, so we can do that. If breast cancer comes into a university and says we want X equity, they may get laughed out of town because there's money from the government. There's 20 breast cancer foundations. There's a lot of people that have it. So they don't need to negotiate deals. In rare disease, we can actually do that for our communities because there's no other capital available. So we negotiate some win-win scenarios between us and the university. We did that back in 2016. In 2017, there was a publicly traded biotech company that acquired that asset from the university to move it into clinical trials. Number one, that's great. That's what we want. We de-risked something that was in a lab, and now a company is taking it into humans in clinical trials. Goal accomplished. And that's where a lot of medical research organizations stop. We fund it, we write a check, we hope for the best. But because we take a business approach and a business model, when that publicly traded biotech acquired the IP from the university, we received $3 million back as a foundation. So we put $500,000 in, we accomplished the goal, get it into clinical trials. And that's one of the ones that's a phase 3 clinical trial now, which hopefully will be approved. So we accomplished the goal strategically for patients, but then we generated a 6x return on investment. We turned that $500,000 into $3 million that comes back to as a foundation, and we can put right back into more research until we cure the disease. So in essence, the goal is with all of your support and generosity, not only can we advance treatments and cures for the disease, but we create a sustainable model where your dollar becomes $6, which is incredibly important with a rare disease, where if we just depend on fundraisers and campaigns and galas and golf tournaments, we're never going to get there. It's never going to work. So we built a new sustainable model. So that's a little bit about the business model. We first started doing it with academic medical centers. Then we said, look, if you're a private or public company and you're working on EB, we also can fund you as long as it's a win-win scenario. In the last 2 years, we've started 4 companies with the groups of entrepreneurs that we provided seed capital and take some equity stake and to accelerate the process. Again, companies are motivated to get these into trials and get them into the hands of patients. On the scientific barrier side, again, it's a funding problem. If you talk to some of the leading EB doctors and clinicians and researchers, we have the target, as Michelle said. I mean, even 20 years ago, they were talking about, we know this target, we know this one mutation, we know how to fix it. The biggest barriers are funding and time, and funding accelerates time because you have groups now, particularly working on CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, where they want to get that into the clinic as soon as possible. You need to do enough research to show the FDA that you're ready for clinical trials. That takes time, that takes funding, that takes recruiting patients. Some of that we solve with technology, just like you guys are solving problems with technology. We built a direct-to-patient platform with AWS that can help connect patients to clinical trials, to other patients, to research. So that puts speed in the process, because just identifying patients for clinical trials is one scientific barrier. There's just not so many patients, and finding them can be a challenge. We're solving for that. And then on the science side, it's beautiful now. Last year alone, we awarded $7 million in research in 6 different countries. So competition is a good thing. So I wouldn't say it's a barrier. It actually helps overcome barriers. When you have the IPSL consortium working on gene editing, you have University of Minnesota working on gene editing, you have researchers in different countries working on these approaches, it puts speed because they compete with one another academically and scientifically and from a clinic perspective. So again, solvable problem. It's something that can be solved with funding and resources and energy. And we've taken a unique approach to make a sustainable model with venture philanthropy where, it's the ability to be sustainable from a revenue and funding perspective. But the other maybe unanticipated benefit is it gives us say. We're not just an advocacy organization saying, hey, biotech and pharma companies, you should do the right thing. We go lobby, we don't do that. We actually have a seat at the table as investors to say, so we have some say over what the prices should be. How should it be made available to patients? We're not just a traditional medical research organization that is, marching and going to DC. We circumvent that by having a seat at the table as investors, which I think resonates with your audience, so we have power to make sure that the market does the right thing.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that insight. A lot of people want to know, are you considering or using CRISPR style technologies to accomplish this and tackle this? And then once you do cure EB, what kind of advantage or springboard does this give you for curing other diseases?
Yeah, great question. I'll kind of answer both questions maybe with one great example. So I mentioned the IPSL consortium. That's using CRISPR-Cas9 as the gene editing mechanism. So iPS cells are induced pluripotent stem cells. They're this core fabric. So those give a direction to make Michael's eyes, regulate Michael's blood flow, regulate his heart function, create his thinking patterns and his neurons. So they give directions to do everything in the body. From a scientific perspective, those born with EB, there's one mutation. It's like one blip in the line of code, one error in the code that spins out in messenger RNA to give directions to the rest of the body. And that one error in the code says don't produce collagen 7. So basically, when you or I, Alex, get wounds, those heal in a couple days, or scrapes. You heard Michelle, when she gets a wound, it becomes a scar forever. And that's because the body isn't delivering that message to produce collagen 7, those IPS cells, right? So we use CRISPR-Cas9, which, I could talk to you about all day, and any of those interested, we're here to chat. But in the perspective of EB, CRISPR-Cas9 is a scissor technique, right? We learned about it because it's what bacteria use to protect themselves against viruses, but we learned that we can cut and paste lines of code. So you use CRISPR-Cas9 to go into those IPS cells, fix that one mutation. Now, everything else about that IPS cell is unique to you, right? So you're just fixing, it's like a master program for software. You're just fixing the one line of code that isn't working. Then when you have those corrected IPS cells, you can proliferate them. 3D printed skin, spray on skin, but eventually sending messages into the body internally to change that RNA to say produce collagen 7, heal. Sorry, excuse me. On the second part of that question, so that's how we use, CRISPR-Cas9. That technology specifically is scalable because of CRISPR-Cas9. That's a platform technology, right? So, and from a business perspective, when we invest in this sort of work, we actually, build an equity stake for us as a foundation in EB, if there's successful use of that in EB. But we also build a successful stake if that technology is used for other diseases. So now you can open your mind to, if some of this CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing works, EB is first off the runway again because it's monogenic and observable on the surface of the skin. That same technology of IPS cells can be used for any, in theory, any rare genetic disease, because now you just are finding and seeking a target, correcting it, and correcting whatever problem it's causing on the body. So it's massively scalable to really any genetic rare disease, or any genetic disease that we know the mutations or group of mutations. So that work that we're funding today, not only is it rapidly scalable once we prove the case in EB on things like gene editing and exon skipping and messenger RNA, but from a business perspective, the part of what we negotiate is if it is applicable in other diseases, which it will be, we generate returns as a foundation to fund EB until we cure it, but potentially use some of that funding down the road to apply it to other rare diseases and scale this technology to other rare diseases and grow in that way. So we really see ourselves as a leader in rare disease, and that's been validated by the Yale School of Management and the Harvard Business Schools of the world, not only because of the technology in gene editing and exon skipping and messenger RNA is scalable. Once you prove it in a monogenic disease, you can rapidly scale it. And by the way, these gene editing technologies, I'm sure many know, can be used from everything to creating organs from scratch to longevity. I always say, and you'll appreciate this, Alex, through the course of human civilization, minor pieces of science have transformed the way that we work and live. Started with the atom, learning about the atom and its core value. Now we've evolved to the bit, which is very much in your all's world, like the bit, and understanding of this, microscopic unit of science has transformed the way that we work and live. The next 10 years will be transformed by the gene and our understanding of the gene and our ability to use it to cure diseases like EB, but actually the ethics. In the same way that the atom and the bit have caused rapid revolution and advancement and innovation, also brings challenges. So we're entering the era of the gene. We're just on the early stages of it to use it to cure a disease like EB. So rapidly scalable on the science side, and on the business model side, teaching other rare disease organizations how to use venture philanthropy, taking partnerships with AWS. We built a rare disease platform. We didn't say we wanted to build a platform for EB. We said we want to build a platform that any rare disease can use, a technology product to help them collect data and use the data in their disease. We're just using EB as the use case. So our whole business model and the way that we think is, how can we take what we do as a process to then share, give, help scale and grow to other rare disease organizations, because they need it. I mean, of those 7,000 rare diseases, half don't even have a foundation, right? And half of them are children that are affected by rare disease.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so incredible. And this is exactly what our audience is saying right now, that it's just amazing to be able to say that by funding your work, we're not only going to be wiping a single disease off the face of the planet, but it's not going to stop there. So that's incredible. Michelle, a lot of people really want to hear from you. Got a couple questions for you. One is, can you talk a little bit more about quality of life and day-to-day living with this, and then what your work entails with the actual EBRP?
First I'll go over what I do with EBRP because it's an easier question to answer. So I was hired as their accountant, and I am now currently their senior accountant, and I handle the books and making all of the writing out all the checks to the grants to the universities, and all the research that's being done. So I handle a lot of the payables and reconcile things, and because I went to school for accounting, I was like, I might as well make some kind of decent job out of myself and somewhere I could accommodate sitting, not running around. Because I wanted to be archaeologist, and I wanted to be a doctor, and I was like, this is just unrealistic because I have EB. So I was smart, and I was like, I'll take a desk job and do all the fun stuff on the side, when I have energy. But so for EBRP, I do a lot of that. But also, since we have events and we're a tiny team, I get to, we get to share a lot of different parts of jobs. Like when we have big events and galas, we're all on board with all of it. So it's great. And also, I'm also blessed to have a lot of time that I could always designate to like actually going and doing advocacy work, and say, they're having something big on Capitol Hill and I want to be there. I want to be actually in front of senators saying, I need this bill passed for my people. You don't understand. This is actually a roadblock. We need our medicines, and this is a roadblock. It's silly. So there's a lot of leeway. I'm blessed that I found EBRP and that I was able to take my voice and make it go further. But yeah, we're growing so fast, and I'm so excited to see where we go. So who knows if I'm just gonna be the accountant forever? I don't know. I mean, it's always boring, but I still like accounting. I like accounting because you look at spreadsheets all day and you don't have to stress about it later on. Whereas EB, I gotta stress about this all day long, So as far as quality of life, there's always times of the year where it's harder than others. I feel like season change, things like that. When you're growing up, the changes that you go through, puberty, all that fun stuff, it seems like every 10 years or something. So my body's always changed, and I have to kind of catch up and figure out what that is. Recently became allergic to a lot of preservatives. Didn't realize that, but I think that came with many, many years of antibiotics, many years of all kinds of everything that they threw at me. And I had no idea even eye drops had preservatives in it. So everything that they were giving me to treat my EB had preservatives. So I guess it built up in my system. So now I'm allergic to all of it. So, it's a lot to manage and a lot to figure out and a lot of trial and error. Quality of life, it's really mentally, if you can handle what you're going through mentally or find a better positive mindset of how to handle it, it's easier to get through things than it is if you just dwell. If you're negative, also I find, depending on your mental state, it affects your physical 100%. And that goes not just for EB, it goes for everybody. If you're not happy, if you're not well, if you're not taking care of yourself mentally, your body's gonna go to shit. No offense. It will go to crap. My body will fall apart if I'm stressed, if I'm overdoing it, if it's season change on top of everything else. Just being a girl in general has its fun perks to it too with EB. My brother doesn't deal with half the things I deal with because I'm a girl and he's a boy. But it's always been trial and error, figuring out what's right, what's wrong, when to have surgeries, whether I could handle having the surgeries, if it's worth just dealing with the issues before the surgery or after. When you get older, it's really hard, and trying to find your independence has been a big, I think it's one of my biggest goals right now is to teach others how to find their independence, because I was able to figure out how to get mine, but it was a lot of fighting through the system. And with the United States and the way Social Security and disability is, it's very hard because it's like, well, you look like you're fine, your face is fine, but you don't see everything else. And what the doctors know, it's just a skin condition. They don't quite understand. So it's a lot of fighting and trying to find your independence. Some people just give up and they don't ever find that quality of life to keep going and thriving. And I do have a good circle of older people with EB. We have all really try and give back, because we know our bodies are already damaged a lot, because you can't come back from this kind of scar tissue. You could prevent more, but you can't come back. Like I can't have my hands back to what they used to be, unfortunately. So going forward, we all have kind of come to the conclusion that we are going to make sure the next generation doesn't have to deal with this. So we're going to give our bodies to science to do trials, and a lot of us do. We make a fun game of it, of who can meet up where in what state for what trial, and we can give parts of our body as a way to get a free ticket somewhere.
So does that mean that the cure is only going to be for the pathogenesis in utero and not for adults living with it?
I don't think it's not. It can't reverse the damage is what I mean. Like it's can fix and cure, but this scar tissue is not ever going to turn to beautiful skin again. So like the damage is done to my hands, that's irreversible, unfortunately. But going forward, I will have more wounds. It won't break down more. I'll actually be able to live a day-to-day life without worrying about tags and things like that, and all the blood loss and the infection. The infection's something that we always struggle with every single day. It's just because once it's in your environment, it's really hard to get rid of. So you keep reinfecting yourself constantly. So it's like I'll get healed, I'll get in a box, and I'll feel better, but then I'll catch an infection again because something will colonize in a wound. So it's a lot of maintenance and a lot of high maintenance.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. There's a lot of people in chat. Number one, just thanking you for being here, and number two, checking their own privilege, right? Realizing how much that they take for granted, and so I think that's a privilege that you're giving our audience today is having them check theirs. So
Thank you all for being here and listening. I mean, if I could bring anything to your lives, I did my job here. You know.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that. I appreciate that.
It was amazing. I mean, she's a true north in our office and an inspiration. I mean, what was it? How many throat surgeries last year, Michelle?
11.
Yeah. And just so Michelle never complains. She has a positive attitude, but 11 throat surgeries just to be able to eat and breathe, and that's in 1 year, on average once a month and then Michelle, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell or not, but Michelle will tell you as soon as she does get the surgery, a hamburger is the first thing on the menu, right?
Oh, it's usually eggs then hamburgers, but my mom makes me eggs. It's a thing. It's weird.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but to give you an idea, Alex, as Michelle said, I mean, it's from the moment you wake up, full body bandages, bleach baths, doctor's appointments, people forget, again, skin being the largest organ, 11 throat surgeries for Michelle last year. Your esophagus is your skin. It affects the ability to breathe and even eat. So, certainly tough lifestyle. A lot of kids have as bad as 3rd-degree burns all over their body from it. But again, this is something we can solve, and this is something our energy and efforts can, as Michelle said, make it better for the next generation, help people today, who are in Michelle's position, progress from getting worse, but help people being born today not even have ED at all.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, thank you so much for being here and sharing all of that. It's just amazing that we actually have a chance of not just treating but removing a disease from the planet, which is great. So I want to jump into the next segment of this. There's already so many people in chat renewing their commitment to give directly to EB. So I just want to address everybody watching across the 1,500 on Twitch, plus everybody on YouTube, plus everybody on Facebook. If any part of this resonated with you just a little bit, and I know it did, consider going to the EBRP website. You can find all the details on our socials or theirs, and give directly. Even just a little bit recurring every month helps. So please consider doing that. And Michael, what are some projects or dreams of EB in this next short-term phase of the cure that that funding is going to go towards, that you need funding for?
Yeah, this year in the short term, we have a goal, despite a pandemic, to get back out there and award $7 million in research from projects across the world. So, more specifically, what we've done is ask for curative projects. We're at a point where we continue to become more impatient. We know there's a real shot at this. We know the technology exists. We know there's many working on it. So, part of the condition and our funding guidelines for this year specifically is we said, look, we want curative projects. We want those moonshots. We want things that are either a cure or going to drastically change the quality of life. And we've seen that. Our first grant cycle was in March. We received, over 10 projects from across the world, which was less applications than we usually receive, but more curative, impactful projects. So that's already paid off. We're reviewing those now, and we'll make announcements on what we're going to fund. The next funding cycle is in August of this year, where we'll go back to the community and ask for those projects. So, really this year, what's the goal? We'd like to be able to be in a position to fund $7 million worth of research to the most cutting edge, game changing, innovative work from across the world. Within the next 2 years, we'd like to see curative projects in the clinic in phase 1 clinical trials, which is realistic as we sit here today. Those are in preclinical, there's dozens of them that we've supported across the world. So short term, let's get those curative projects in human trials to patients. And then, the longer term goal is that, by the end of this decade, we want to see a cure, a one-shot cure approved in the hands of patients, and we want to move on to the next rare disease. I used to say put ourselves out of a job, but I'm looking at Michelle. We've learned so much and become experts in what we do. I think it's put ourselves out of a job by ending EB, but staying in the job so we can help scale and grow to other rare disease foundations. So really just funding research and the projects we get applications for, having the funding to be able to fund all the great ideas. The projects are getting more expensive. They used to average around $200,000 per project. We've seen that go up, to $500,000 per project as they get later stage and higher need. Helping data be usable and shareable, genomic data and patient-reported outcomes data. The project we're doing with AWS, you can learn more about on our website. So yeah, that's some of the specific stuff. We're optimistic and we're hopeful, and really, every dollar that's raised helps us achieve that goal and get to that end. And then, of course, awareness, everything that you've done this week, Alex, and Elongate has done, telling somebody about the mission, sharing a post, asking somebody if they've heard of it. They call children with EB butterfly children because their wings or their skin is as fragile as the wings of a butterfly. We really think, to use the term butterfly effect, the idea that somebody's actions in one place, it came from the theory that a butterfly's small, motion of their wings could create a tornado somewhere across the world, by the gravity and the momentum from that. So, with support of you all and your community, let's make that butterfly effect. Let's make that flap so we can actually accomplish something great and ambitious like curing EB, and in the process show the world how cures are found that can help many other rare diseases.
Let's make that butterfly effect happen. So I'm going to talk to the community right now for just a second. Elongate community, everybody watching this, please consider giving directly. Every little bit counts. You can give crypto directly as well because they're set up with our partners, the Giving Block. But I want to know, do you want to see us give now? Do you want to see us give right now? And I want to find out if you guys want to see it. They're saying yes, absolutely. It's just exploded. They want to see us give right now. They want to see it happen. They want to see it happen. Okay.
We were holding our breath, Michelle and I. We were holding our breath.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes, give now. They're saying hashtag flap those wings, butterflies. So they want to see it happen. Okay, I've just talked and confirmed with Lorenzo and the leadership team in the back end. They have completed the donation. I'm going to flip the screen here just so the community can see the transaction log. And this is the transaction log here, and that's $152,000. $152,000. So that is powered by the Elongate community, powered by their participation in our community, directly to EB Research Partnership. And the leadership team wanted me to communicate to you guys today specifically that this is just the beginning of our support. $150,000 is just today. And this is just the absolute beginning of our ongoing support to sustainably walk with you on this journey as a cryptocurrency token and help you reach that cure by 2030. So we're going to be with you the whole way.
Wow.
Amazing, man. Thank you guys. You're making me cry, which I haven't done since my daughters were born. So that's just overwhelming. Alex, Elongate, the community, that makes an immediate impact on what we're trying to do. That funds almost an entire project that we can get into the hands of patients. So that is massive, massive, massive for us. Unbelievably humbling. We are just at a loss for words. Like, thank you. Unbelievable. Thank you.
The entire community right now is saying give more, just give more. So we're gonna make that happen. 150 is just the start for today. We're on the path to do consistent, ongoing, sustainable support to our charity partners, and we're making sure that we select charity partners that are really working hard on worthy causes. And everything you've seen today demonstrates that this is absolutely one of them. So it's going to be ongoing, sustainable support. So super excited to do that. Absolutely excited to do that for you guys. it really is an honor to be able to contribute and be part of this movement that has powered this contribution. So, can you just share with our audience how they can get involved after this live stream? Obviously, they can follow you on socials, but what are the ways that they can find you and really help support you?
Yeah, our social channels, which we've been, sharing the love with you and your social channels. So if you can't find us, just go see what's happening at Elongate social channels. We've been a part of your family this week, and we're part of your family till we cure this disease. So that's where you can find out how to follow us on social. One of the things we pride, which I know is important to this community, is transparency. So, go to our website. We list every single project that we funded at every single university with a description of every single amount. We give our full impact reports and financials. Go check us out. You can see every detail, every penny that we spend. You can learn about families. You can see more videos. So yeah, check out our website, tell a friend, follow us on social media. And, one of the things that we're excited to do, we did a show last year called Venture into Cures. We were lucky to get a lot of amazing members of the EB community and medical community, along with celebrity friends and musicians. So we will be doing that again on November 18th this year. It'll be digital, so anybody in the world can watch it. So please, share that event with friends. Alex and the Elongate team have already generously been a presenting sponsor for that. So they'll be part of the show coming November 18th. So that's a great way, leading up to them, keep telling people. But if they really want to know what it's about, we make it hopeful and uplifting, and you can get a sense of many families and many stories, but also hear some great music and hear some wonderful stories as well. So follow us on social, check out the website, stay tuned in and part of this Elongate family, because we plan to, and then stay tuned on all the digital events we do, including Venture into Cures on November 18th, which the Elongate team will be a big part of.
And for those who can't give directly at this time, what is the best way for them to make a difference in their communities or to spread awareness of EB? I actually saw a comment earlier today on the stream where one of our users, Eric, put it this way. One of the problems with rare diseases is that it's so financially unattractive for biotech to get into the space because there's just not enough patients. So organizations like EBRP are so crucial to facilitate these important research efforts. So given the size and the lack of awareness, what are some things people can do to really kick this thing into high gear?
Yeah, that's a great point, Alex. We're just scratching the surface on, but in short, preclinical work for rare diseases, whose ever comment that was spot on. You have work being done in a lab, right, at a bench, and the goal is to get it from the bench to the bedside of a patient. What happens in rare disease is there's a lot of good bench science, then you have a valley of death of actually a company picking that up, and there's incentives and ways to get companies to do it. But our role, and we want to help other rare disease foundations play that role, as we said, de-risking early stage investments, angel investors, where we can cover that valley by funding it to a point where it becomes commercially attractive to biotech and pharma companies. And we've had success again now with 32 clinical trials in the space. We all can get involved in different ways, and some of it may not be financially. So honestly, sharing the story of the organization, sharing a short video of one of the families that we talk about, making people aware and educating, finding people in your community, whether they have EB or other rare diseases, and seeing how you can help and bring awareness is so important. Again, with 1 in 10 people being affected by a rare disease, I'm pretty sure some of us know somebody with a rare disease. So we're always happy to help. If they're trying to figure out how to help their rare disease, put them in touch with us. Educate people on EB, raise awareness to what we're doing. Spread the word of the crypto community. We've been so overwhelmed by the Elongate family, just how generous and young people are. That's how we cure this disease and others in the future. Like actually telling people why philanthropy is important and why giving some back, as you guys continue to be more successful, helping the next generation understand the importance of giving back and how to do it. So awareness is awesome. Funding is awesome as well, but some mix of the both or one or the other is all we could ever ask for. So again, thank you, because we've seen that this week. People have really we've seen our social channels grow just from you guys, Alex, and Elongate, which has been amazing. That stuff is massive help and just makes our platform wider.
I'm getting just one last question here. In the midst of the flood of butterflies that I'm seeing a flood of butterflies in the chat. I'm seeing one question here for people that are involved in academic research in related areas. How can they get in touch with you to support you academically and scientifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to our website, there's a number one, how to apply for grants. We do the cycle in March and August. So if there's folks in academia that are interested in working, we take all great, bold, innovative ideas, even with people that may not traditionally work on EB, they work on other things, but want to apply their research or technology. We have funding available to do that. So we have grant cycles twice a year. Very easy, very clear, 8-page application. We don't do the 100 pages of the government NIH. We make it simple and clear. So they can apply to us for funding if they have big, bold, innovative ideas that can save lives and cure this disease. You can email me directly, mhund@ebresearch.org or info@ebresearch.org with ideas or connections of people that may be able to help or have ideas. Again, gene editing and gene engineering is a rapidly evolving area. Here we have a great solvable problem. So when I worked in cancer, just to give you an idea, we did an X Prize and we said, here's a data set of genomics and this disease and this cancer. We'll take the best ideas on how to engineer it, which is probably inspiring to this community. The person that won wasn't a PhD in medicine, wasn't an MD, was actually a coding expert from Brazil who worked in forensic criminal science, who just looked at the code and was able to engineer something beautiful. So that's maybe a shout out to this community. Work with us as we advance technology platforms and try to decode the disease. You all have that skill set. So many ways to help. We're open to all of it.
Amazing. Well, thank you again. And just a note to our community, I'm seeing just a flood of butterfly wings here. Take those butterfly wings right now and go and spread some love on EB Research's socials. Go to their Twitter, go to their Instagram, and I want you to just take those butterfly wings and just flood it right now. Just flood their socials on Twitter and Instagram with all those butterfly wings and celebrate this donation today. So I think that would be really awesome. Michael, Michelle, and of course to Brady, who had to hop off. It's been a pleasure. So thank you so much to both of you.
It's been amazing.
Thank you, Alex. You guys are heroes, man. Absolutely. We are honored to have you and your community on the team that will cure this disease. So just unbelievable thanks, man.
To the community, we are going to get started right after a short break with the rest of our charity party. We're going to be having a token burn. We're going to be doing some giveaways. So stick around for that. We're going to celebrate. It's going to be great. Michelle and Michael, thanks again. We'll be in touch very soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have I been muted the whole time? I've been muted the whole time? Okay, here's what I'm saying. That was a really, really, really awesome live stream that we just did for EB Research Partnership. What an incredible partner they are to have. We, you can hear me now, right? You can hear me now. Yeah? Okay, great. Okay, yes. They can hear me now. EB Research Partnership, we just donated to them $150,000. We are super honored and humbled to be able to do that. Okay, so the $150,000 we gave to them is just the start of our partnership with EBRP. They have an incredibly revolutionary philanthropy model where they act as a venture firm and a startup business to acquire funding and then take all that funding and deliver right back into the research they're doing to cure a disease by 2030. So one of the things we're really excited about is our new approach to charity partnerships, where instead of just a one-time big splashy donation, one and done, high and buy, we actually take those charity partners and we walk with them over a long period of time. So that's why this donation was $150, because it is just the start of what we've pledged to them. And we've pledged a commitment to them over a period of time. So just the start of what we've done, of what we're going to be doing with EBRP, and we're going to be walking with them on this journey. And one of the really important things about that is that more importantly than our big splashy donation is having the community engage with them over a period of time, because that's what's going to empower the community, all of you, to give directly and engage with them and promote awareness and exposure. So for something like this, where it's a rare disease that not many people know about and they need all the support they can get, rather than just blowing them up for one day or 1 week. We're gonna walk with them over a long period of time, which is why we did the 150 today, which is part of a longer goal of support. So we're super excited to do that. Super excited to do that. Okay, so we're gonna kick off the rest of this charity burn party. Do you all want to see the first burn? Do you want to see the first burn? Yes or no? I want to know. They do. They want to see the first burn. Okay. They want to see the first burn. Yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do the first burn now. We're going to do it right now. Okay. All right. We're going to make it happen. The first burn is right here. I'm sharing the screen. The first burn today is 225 billion tokens. That's 225 billion tokens burned today for you guys. Remember that we burn every single Sunday to celebrate our donations to charity, because when we burn tokens, everything you have becomes worth more. And that's something we want to do for you guys, to give back to you for being on this journey with us. That's 225 burned now. Lorenzo wants to know if there is a second burn that you want to see. Is there a second burn you want to see? Is there a second burn you want to see? People are saying only 200 billion. That's just the first burn, my friends. Yes. They say burn more. Okay. Lorenzo says he'll think about it. Just as a recap, we're super excited to have given to EB Research Partnership today $150,000 as just the start of our support to them. That was really humbling live stream to be able to talk to Michelle, talk to Michael, the CEO, talk to Brady, a young man who's living with this disease, and what they go through and how we can support them. How can we support them? So we are going to be doing a giveaway for you guys. Looks like we have the second burn. I'll show it to you. And it's another 225 billion tokens. Another 225 billion tokens. That's 450 burned just like that, up in flames for you guys. Because whenever we burn tokens, everything you have becomes worth more. Okay, so we got more token burns coming up. Lorenzo has confirmed it. We've got a giveaway coming up today. But there's some things I want to talk to you all about. So for the giveaways, we've been giving away a massive amount every single week, right? Every single week. Now, a lot of people are saying donate the giveaway. So we can't exactly do that, because when we pull funds, we pull both BNB and Elongate. The BNB is what gets donated. The Elongate is Elongate tokens, and that's for our community. That's for you guys. We want to reward you guys. We don't necessarily just want to cash that out and make that another donation, because that's just a cash out that doesn't necessarily need to appear, because we pull equal BNB and Elongate. The BNB for donations, the Elongate for all of you. Now, here's the thing though. We're going to be ramping down the Elongate we give away for free, because we're going to be ramping way up the Elongate you can earn through community marketing, okay? There are 450,000 holders in the Elongate community. We are going to be empowering all of you to do some amazing grassroots community marketing. And there's going to be some amazing prizes to go along with all that. So we're going to be taking our giveaway fund, and we're still going to have giveaways here. We're still going to have giveaways here for free for you guys who tune in and support our charity live streams. But the majority of those giveaway funds are going to be for people that really take it to the next level and create some amazing content on socials and share to their friends and all kinds of stuff. So we are going to be taking the majority of our giveaway fund, and we're pretty much tripling our giveaway fund. And we're going to be turning that into contest prizes and competition winnings for everybody to really take community marketing to the next level. So the free Elongate is still here, but it's going to be a little bit smaller. And the Elongate you can win by taking our community and blowing it up worldwide is going to be much bigger. So we're excited for that. We're going to be taking the community and putting you to work. So we're going to be putting you all to work for us, and we're excited to do that. I know you guys are excited to have some incentive to get out there and blow this up for us. We have a third burn. We have a third burn. I'll show it with you guys right now, and it's, guess what? Another 225 billion tokens. Another 225 billion tokens burned for you guys today. Whenever we burn, everything you have becomes worth more. So coming up soon, we have the Bitcoin 2021 conference in June 4th and 5th. So that is in just about 2.5 weeks. In about 2.5 weeks, we have the Bitcoin 2021 conference. It's in Miami. It's June 4th and 5th. Okay. We have some amazing things that I don't yet want to spoil. Okay. Because we don't want anybody to copy us. That is the critical thing here. We don't want anybody to copy us because we're going to be doing some things there that no one else is doing. We have confirmed with our media agencies that literally no one else is going to be doing some of this stuff in Miami, and we want to be the only ones that are doing it for you guys. So we got some amazing things coming up there. I personally am going to fly down to Miami, and I'm going to be there in an Elongate t-shirt, handing out giveaways and talking to everybody who's there. So if you're going to be in Miami, hit us up and let us know and come hang out with us at the Miami 2021 conference. That conference is going to be headlined by Jack Dorsey from Twitter and headlined by Tony Hawk. It is completely sold out in terms of exhibition booths and sponsors. It is going to be jam-packed with everybody in crypto being there. So we're going to be there. We're going to be in the Elongate shirts, and we're going to be handing out some goodies for you guys and spreading the word. And there's going to be some really cool brand awareness stuff that's going to be happening that week, leading all the way up to the conference. So we're excited for that. Another thing that's going to be going on is we did crowdfunding campaign to take our New York takeover and our LA takeover we did with our massive Times Square billboard, and we had the biggest digital billboard in the country live for Elongate, and we did the flyovers over Miami and LA. We're going to be taking that, and we have crowdfunded funds from all of you and spreading that to other key countries that you want to see us in. So that's going to be Toronto, that's going to be Austin, that is going to be Paris, it's going to be some other amazing key cities that you asked us to show up in and show out for. So we're going to be doing that. So that's going to be going live pretty soon. As soon as we know the dates, we're going to publish that to all of you. So that's super exciting. Okay, do you want to see one more burn? Do you want to see one more burn? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? I see you all are trying to guess the giveaway code today. Hashtag Elongate4EB. That's not it. That's actually not it. We're tricking you guys. Okay, we have a fourth. Yes, they say yes. Okay, we have one last burn for you today, and this is 380,000 tokens. 380,000 tokens. 380 billion. 380 billion Elongate burned for you guys. 380 billion. That was 225 plus 225 plus 225, and then finally 380 billion. Somebody do the math. I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a guy that talks on camera. So somebody do that math and add it up. 225, 225, 225, 380. How much is that? Somebody do the math for me. That is just over $1 trillion. That is just over $1 trillion burned for you guys today. Super excited to do that. That is a full trillion burned in just one day. A full trillion burned in one day. Excited to do that for you guys. The giveaway is now live, and Now, this is only for our Twitch followers right now. If you want to enter the giveaway and you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can hop over to Twitch and hang out with us and do the giveaway. In the future, we might be doing some giveaways on other platforms, but the automation for doing the giveaway bot is on Twitch right now. So the giveaway is on Twitch today. That's the platform the giveaway is on, and it is live now. The code is hashtag crypto for cures, and that's FOR. Hashtag crypto FOR cures. Hashtag crypto for cures, all caps, CRYPTO FOR CURES. Hashtag Crypto for Cures is your code to get in today for the giveaway. Now, the reason that is the code today is because our $150,000, this is a huge announcement, our $150,000 that we donated to EB Research Partnership is the genesis of the Elongate Crypto for Cures Fund that is going to be stewarded by EB Research. So we now have the Crypto for Cures Fund founded by Elongate, and we're going to be inviting crypto partners all over the world to contribute with us to that fund. So we've started the first part of the fund with $150,000, and we're inviting crypto partners all over the world to contribute to the hashtag Crypto for Cures Fund for EB Research. So that's going to be a massive campaign coming out, and we are the founders of that. So we're super excited and proud to be doing that for you guys. All right. We're going to be, just so you guys know, Lorenzo says, FYI to the audience, we're going to be pulling a little bit more today and adding some liquidity to V2 for you all. So you guys have been asking and wondering and worrying about supporting V1 and supporting V2 on PancakeSwap. And so we announced on Twitter a few days ago, we officially support V2, which is awesome. So now every Sunday, whenever we pull funds for donations and pull funds for giveaways and pull funds for burning, we're also going to be transferring some liquidity from V1 to V2 just to make sure that it stays happy and healthy and secure for you guys. So that's going to be a process that happens Sundays as well. So that's super exciting. We want to make sure that stays stable for you. Okay, Crypto for Cures, let's get the first name drawn. Let's get the first name drawn. We're going to be doing 10 names today. 10 names today at 1 billion each. 10 names at 1 billion each. And the rest of our giveaway fund that we've increased is going to be for community marketing giveaways and prizes. So we're excited for that. And just so I can show it on stream, because why not? I'll show it to you on stream. This is the move to provide just some additional backup liquidity to V2 today. So this is the transaction today where we added just some more liquidity to V2 on PancakeSwap for you guys, so you can have peace of mind about that. So that's for you. Okay, we have our first. We have Pooh N Cracker 1. Pooh N Cracker 1, you are our first giveaway winner. Congratulations. Make sure you type !claim and get that prize. 10 winners today, $1 billion each. We have our second winner. Our second winner is Kohler Tongo, Koler Tongo. Congratulations. You are our second winner today. Congratulations. Make sure you type !claim to get your winnings. We're going to have the more winners, or have some more winners flooding in just a second. Just as a recap for everybody joining, we donated $150,000 to the hashtag Crypto for Cures Fund to support EB Research Partnership. So excited to do that. What a great partner they are, and they have an incredible model of business where they are generating capital funds and angel investment to turn that right back into science and research to cure epidermolysis bullosa, EB. So that was super exciting. We have our third and fourth winners. Our third winner is Damien MT98, and our fourth winner is Biak KOTV. That's BIAK KOTV. And we have our fifth winner, Roy YDV. Roy YDV. Congratulations to Damien MT98, Biak KOTV, and Roy YDV. You are our third, fourth, and fifth winners today. Make sure you type !claim and get those winnings to your wallet. And we're going to have a lot of stuff coming up for you later this week. We have a big special guest coming up next weekend. We have some more marketing we're going to be doing. We have the international takeover coming out soon, date to be D. So keep a lookout for that. We have the Miami takeover coming up June 4th and 5th, where you're going to see Elongate everywhere. And we're going to be doing some community marketing and encouraging all of you to be taking the power of the 450,000 holders and really putting that to work blowing us up. And we're going to be incentivizing that with some amazing giveaways and prizes on social. So make sure you're following all of our socials, because you're never going to know which day it's going to be on Twitter, which day it's going to be on Instagram. It's going to be all over the place. So stay tuned, keep an eye out for those, and you can earn some big prizes. We have our 6th winner, Nika Uto. That's Nicauto. And our 7th winner, Gan123SAT. Gan123SAT and Nika Uto. Congratulations, you are our 6th and 7th winners. Make sure you type !claim to get those prizes. And we'll follow up with you guys in DMs right after this stream. Right after this stream. Oh, and don't forget that we have next week our new website coming out, and we'll be launching the first merch, and we'll be launching the first NFT drop along with the website reveal. The website blows my mind every day when I see it, and it's still in progress. They're tweaking it and polishing it up right now. So next week it's going to go live, targeting the 27th. Maybe a couple days earlier than that, we don't know. NFT drops and merch going live at the same time, and I'll be doing a live stream where we're going to be doing some NFT giveaways to celebrate that, so stay tuned for that. We have our 8th and 9th winners. Our 8th winner is Hayes Moky, Hazemoky, and our 9th winner is XXX8Mando8 XXX. Congratulations to Hayes Moky and 8Mando8. You are our 8th and 9th winners. Make sure you type !claim to get those prizes. And then we have finally our 10th winner. Our 10th winner is Mr. Z555. That's MRZEE555. You are our 10th winner today. Congratulations for being our 10th and final winner. Please type !claim in the chat to get your winnings after the stream. We're going to try to get those to you guys as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember, big news, next Monday. So our charity stream next weekend is actually not going to be on the Sunday. It's moved one day later. It's going to be on Monday the 24th. Monday the 24th is going to be the charity stream, because we are going to be hosting it with Kimball Musk himself. Kimball Musk himself is such a huge fan, and he is so excited to come and talk to all of you and tell you directly about the amazing work that Big Green is doing. We supported them before. We're supporting them again. Kimball Musk is going to be coming and chatting with all of you on stream and talking to me about the amazing work that Big Green is doing to put gardens in communities and schools that don't have access to clean food. So we're super excited to be hosting him and talking to him. We're going to kick off tomorrow a whole week of support for Big Green. There's going to be a bunch of hype around that, so stay tuned around that. Make sure you tune in Monday the 24th for our next charity live stream, where we're going to be hanging out with Kimball Musk. If you haven't claimed, make sure you claim. That's Kohler Tongo and Roy YDV. You were our 2nd and 5th winners. Make sure you type !claim in chat to get your winnings. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Lots in store. I love this community. I love that you all understand the incredible value that we're bringing. And thank you for being here and just celebrating and sending love to all of our partners at EB Research. And we're going to be supporting them in the future. So thanks for being here. Tune in next week to hang out with us and Kimball Musk, and we'll be seeing you soon.